Oh, g'day, mate.
Ow! Ow!
What's happening, my boys? So the artist just came out on DBD. Don't really feel her playstyle now. She's a killer, so wanted to play killer instead of survivor. Playing Billy as per usual, and they've done some sort of must be a bug or like a shadow nerf or something to his chainsaw sprints. When you end a chainsaw sprint, usually you keep some of the momentum of the chainsaw sprint just for a moment, and you don't go super slow. It's hard to explain, but pretty much now you don't get that. So when your chainsaw sprint ends, you go like dead slow. It doesn't feel right until they fix that, hopefully, soon, or address it at least. We're just focusing more on videos. So anyway, my boys, today's video talking about 5 things as survivor that you need to learn. Maybe not need to learn, but definitely should consider learning them, because look at it like this: it's just another tool in your arsenal, things that you can do that might help you in a game as survivor. So definitely don't have to learn it if you don't want to, but it's just, it might come in handy. You can do some plays with it, might just keep it on the back burner is what I'm saying. Only if you want to, my boys, but let's jump into it. All right, number 5, it's got to be 360s and anything to do with the killer's FOV, I suppose. So 360s, learning them for one, and then deciding which one to do in the moment. So there's the classic 360, there's the JRM type 360s if you're into those. There's the ones that I really like because they expect a 360, and it's when you are running away from the killer, you click your flashlight once, which faces you at the killer, and then you hold W pretty much. And don't do a spin, you just run straight. Here's an example. I can't do this next one justice. I don't have an example of it, but my mate is like king of it. I swear he coined it. It's all you do is zigzags, because when you zigzag, the killer is expecting a 360 to come out. That's the next thing you're gonna do. That's the next thing they expect. So you just zigzag your character out as if you're gonna bait, this 360, and then you never do, because they anticipate a 360 is coming, and when it works, it is the funniest thing. My mate does it better than anybody else, but I don't think he really plays this game anymore. But D6, holy shit. Shout out to you, dude. And as for the FOV side of it, sometimes just getting in the killer's field of view can kind of just disrupt them and make them swing. I'll give you an example of this here and here. Next, flashlight saves. Maybe this is just a personal thing. That makes sense. The whole video is like my opinion, but I've got a fair chunk of hours in this game, and I still feel like flashlight saves, I'm just so bad at it. I don't know, maybe I just can't get it personally, but I feel like I just can't get the timing down pat. But in terms of difficulty, there's things to learn. How far into the killer's pickup animation do you start the flashlight save? That's 1. Maybe connection is 2, angles 3, and I say 4, what you can flashlight save through and over, and like objects in the way. Knowing all that is kind of nice too. So I feel like the best way to learn that is to just go for them consistently. But the actual timing part of it, I just personally, I have a lot of difficulty. So definitely a good thing to learn. And then you'll get times as well, just to chuck this in there, where you feel like you're bang on with timing, and it's too early, or you're like, I don't know. You'll be too late. It's just kind of frustrating sometimes. So that's just me personally, but definitely something to learn. Move it on to number 3. It's got to be locker flashlight saves. Now I feel like I'm better at these and more consistent than regular flashlight saves, weirdly enough, but it's kind of whack way. I feel like these are actually harder to get than a regular flashlight save. Kind of sounds weird. I think maybe because I practice locker flashlight saves. I had a point of playing DBD where me and a guy I used to play with that's all we used to do, just practice locker flashlight saves. So I feel like these are more difficult than regular ones, but I personally think I'm better at these. Things you have to factor in when going for a locker flashlight save: obviously the timing of the animation, when to go for it, just like a normal flashlight save. The connection, you can probably factor that in too, just like a normal save. The locker, not all lockers you can do it. The killer is a thing, because some killers, it's just so hard. Some killers you just straight out can't. So you got to factor that in too. And lastly, I'm going to say this, because the timing is crucial, just like a regular flashlight save. This part is hard to explain. If you don't line yourself up properly in a good position for the locker flashlight save, when you go for the save, because the timing is right, and you go to click and go for it, if your aim is off, then the timing is going to be thrown too, if you know what I'm saying. Because it's a cause and effect type of thing. Because your aim is off, you're not starting the flashlight save blind when you wanted to, because you have to correct your aim. So that I find more difficult than the actual timing itself, the aim. And for me personally, I usually line the shoulder of my survivor up with the locker. That's worked so far, and I get saves more consistently from the right hand side, like from one angle. So if I'm flashlighting from the right, if I do it from the left, way more scuffed. But yeah, takes plenty of practice. Definitely a skill to learn because it's so fun and extremely funny. You can like hold games hostage in a weird way. We've had some crazy games, like me and some friends of mine had some crazy games doing these. I could talk about it all day, but we had a game recently, 3 of us in a Swift, and I reckon 20 flashlight saves at least. What I'm trying to say is it's a lot of fun. Anyway, let's just move on to the next one. Number 2 spot, gotta be window text, and I mean all natural window text. It just feels better. There was a point in time when you could just do a window tech and phase through the killer with no collision. It's not that simple now. There was a phase of people using maps, keys, maybe I think even dead hard, but an all natural window tech is so difficult in my opinion because timing needs to be bang on and you need to hope that they don't pick up on what you're doing. They're extremely difficult in my opinion, like extremely difficult to get them consistently right. I mean, I have my fair share of stuff up still in them. I think they're good to learn as a backup, as a last resort. Might want to chuck it into one of your plays. You might be a shack or something, for example, pallets used. You got your window vaults, nothing's left, you might want to pull it off. I feel like window techs are more successful now because nobody does them. I never see window techs as killer, and I rarely see them by other survivors when I'm playing survivor. I think now killers expect to see window techs a lot less, so you might have more luck pulling them off. Just as an added thing, there's a YouTube video on this, I think it's called window tech feet shuffle, but what you're looking at, if you look closely, is when the killer vaults, you're looking for the animation reset, and on some killers, because the animation for a window vault is different for killers, but on some, you can see a little, you can see their feet shuffle, and that's when the reset has started, and that's when you can phase through the killer. Alright, moving on to number 1, the most hardest thing in the game for me personally, I think, and something you should definitely learn because this is going to come in everywhere. Fast vaults on difficult tiles and late fast vaults. So when you vault a window, you get the prompt of a vault. It can be a medium or a fast. To get these late fast vaults, you have to sort of press your spacebar later than you usually would, and that's how you're getting the fast vault. Alright, so let's try to break this down. Look how close I am to the window as we start the run, and we have the option to vault, which will be a medium. For a split second, we get the option of a running vault. It's like a frame. So that means technically you can get a fast vault on this window at that distance, and that is what I'm talking about. Getting late fast vaults like that, where you're ignoring the prompt to vault early, which will give you a medium, and you're doing a late fast vault to get the running vault. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm in shack and I'm so close to the window, it's going to be hard for the killer to get a hit. And look where I'm standing right now. I can see the window, so if the killer comes to the window side, I can see. And if the killer goes to the door side, I can see his red light. It's way safer being here as opposed to like really far away from the window. Now, getting these vaults isn't too bad sometimes, but once you incorporate being chased at the same time, then it's kind of becomes difficult because you really need to not panic and you need to pay attention and get the timing bang on. And yeah, if you're getting chased, you might panic, so just try and stay relaxed. The Dead Dog Saloon Vault is a good one to learn, to practice on, and then maybe step it up to 4 lanes because the 4 lane ones are the hardest ones in the game that I know of. Anyway, my boys, I'm just talking your ear off once again. It's like 7 AM here, I haven't slept, so I'm gonna finish this video up and probably go to bed. I'll see you in the next video, you cheeky buggers. Peace!
Push the button. Come on, push the button.